legacy maker, the All Sports
The
Network.
place is here and the time is now. Let's take it round for round. And people gather round. Let's see who can win the crown. All the marbles involved. Football, baseball, or golf. Who's dominating the hoops? Who's talking false or the truth? Yeah, come and show me your war face. I'll show you my war face. No holds barred, so for your sake, you better show up in good shape. Valuable information is key to your domination. So focus on preparation. Online is your reputation. Yeah, it's one-on-one. You and me, ain't no fear in me. You will see. When it comes to this, you'll be wearing the number 23. In debate, I hold my weight, cause these sports I'm attached to it. Your legacy, get ready, cause I'm gonna set a match to it. Hey. Burn 'em. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire. Fire, 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 burn. Fire, 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 legacy on fire.
WrestleMania 38 panel. Robb Johnson, Drew Willingham, Cody Stewart, and special guest from the Undisputed Champions show, Korrey Mann.
know you see us in front of you. We are here. WrestleMania 38 is on the horizon. I'm your man, Darrell Owens, and this is our second annual WrestleMania show here on Legacy on Fire. And with me today, I got some of the best wrestling minds in the game, ladies and gentlemen, with me today. So let's go ahead and get the introductions. Now, people are like, wait a minute, where's Cody? Hopefully, we're going to get Cody on soon. So if Cody, hope everything goes well so we can get you on. Cody's another one of our great guys here on the network that does a lot of good stuff here for us. Now, first, let's get our introductions in. First, man, myth, legend, does it all. Probably one of the hardest working men I know, Mr. Robb Johnson. How you doing today, sir?
Hello.
I love you, Robb. I love you so much. Next, we got our man, Mr. Drew Willingham. He does it all, man. Satoba Media, video production. Man, the man knows it all. You see the belt hanging in the background. Stop playing games. Drew, how you doing today, brother?
Hey, not too bad. We started off our little pre-meeting with the NWO Wolfpack throwback theme, so things are ready to go. I'm ready to go. Too sweet. Let's rock this.
Woo! And of course, our special guest tonight, coming from the way of the Undisputed Champion show, my man Korrey Mann is joining us today. Korrey, what is up, brother?
What's going on? What's going on, fellas? Again, thank you guys so much for having me on, and ready to rock and roll, man.
Don't worry, Wally. Your time is coming, brother. If you're listening, your time is coming. Don't even act like you don't even know. So if you guys haven't had a chance, make sure you go check out the Undisputed Champions show on YouTube. It's a great show, good perspective. Make sure you check the guys out. But of course, we're going to get this thing started right, man. I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be a fun one today because we got a lot to talk about at WrestleMania. But we're going to start this one off on a kind of a sore subject for the week. But yes, it's not technically wrestling, but it has some physicality to do with it. It was almost like you can't stop but to talk about it. We got to talk about the Chris Rock, Will Smith incident. Now, obviously it's not wrestling, but, I did see a poster this week where somebody had them going against each other with Denzel Washington being the special guest referee and having Jada Smith hanging up in a cage. I thought that was wild. I'm just going to throw that out there, ladies and gentlemen. But the situation has been crazy throughout the week. And so I'm going to give everybody an opportunity, give everybody a minute here to kind of give their feelings on that. Drew, I'm going to start with you, man. What was your thoughts on this crazy situation?
I'll tell you what, that sell job by Chris Rock, like his mom just slapped him for getting a bad grade on his report card, was great. Other than that, it was pretty sad to see that that's how Will reacted. I mean, even when the joke first happened, you could see where he was laughing when it all first started, and then all of a sudden, just because he looked over and his wife wasn't happy, that's when the dramatics started, and he gets up on stage and does that. If it was anybody else, if it was you or me or anybody else, we'd be probably dealing with some charges right now and going through some pretty legal battles right now with all this. So I don't condone it, and I don't think it's funny or whatsoever other than that. But I do think the fact that Chris Rock sold it the way he did, I was really happy to see that at least he continued on with his performance. He didn't let it affect him, and he continued on with it. But that behavior shouldn't be condoned by anyone, and that's a pretty bad example to set to the younger youth that are going to be the ones in the next 10 years accepting awards like that. And the fact the man got the award afterwards, everybody's all clapping like nothing happened. It's pretty wild, but it is what it is. It's another part of the world we don't live in. So
definitely a crazy scenario. Rob, what are your thoughts on this situation? I know you got something good to say on this one.
Drew's talking about the youth. We're talking about the same youth that are fed TikTok every day, where we have knockout challenges, where we have people getting hurt, where we have people. The whole world is screwed up. But let me say this: Chris Rock is worth $60 million. Will Smith is worth $350 million. Will Smith's wife has something, I think it's called alopecia, where her hair doesn't grow anymore. Him and Chris Rock have had beef for a long time. But let me also say this, folks. Anything dealing with the fake award shows like the Oscars, it's all entertainment. And I don't care about it. It's entertainment. We are so worried about this when there's so many other things in the world. People may say, well, you guys talking about wrestling. Well, that's what we do that's what we're trying to get in. That's why we're in this business, to talk about things like that. That's entertainment. Those guys are going to go on with their lives. We've overdone it. We talk about it way too much. Should it happen? No. Do I think it was staged? Yes, because any other man would have probably fought him right there. People talk. I see some idiots on Facebook talking about, oh, this is setting the black man back. We've been saying something gonna hold the black man back for the last 200 whatever years. After a while, just shut up and it happened. It happened. Will Smith won his Oscar. They're gonna go on with their lives. No charges were filed. I mean, come on now. I'm sorry. This is California. If it was real, charges would have been filed by now. And Amy Schumer, can I say something real quick? Amy Schumer, the only thing that's traumatized is your performances. Because of the fact you got more money. No, I know. I'll give me a little bit of time. You got $11 million, Amy Schumer, and you commanded more. You got more money than Monique, and Monique is a lot more funny than you. You are a complete utter joke. So the only thing we should be traumatized from is you even being on television. Amy Schumer, you suck. I don't want to hear you talk anymore.
All right, Korrey, what are your thoughts on this situation, brother?
I don't really have a lot to say about the situation. I think it's like a lot of traumatization on both ends. I think Will has some issues that he needs to deal with. I think the timing of the situation was unfortunate. I've been saying this to everybody I've been talking to. I wish he would have handled it in a way to like the Source Awards back in the day when we were coming up. And, if they had an issue with somebody, rival gangs had an issue with each other. They weren't there on the stage. They met each other in the back or met each other at the car. Handle it then, for the whole world to see is kind of sad. I think that, the health issue that his wife has isn't something that should be taken lightly. But in the same token, I mean, at the end of the day, a joke is a joke. I don't think Chris Rock really meant anything by it. And at the end of the day, like it just looks bad on all ends. It just looks bad. It is what it is. It's just got people talking. It's pretty much what it is. And I really don't, like, as Rob said, I really, at this point, don't care. It is what it is. He's not going to sue him or anything like that. So just let him move on.
Exactly. It's been a wild situation all week. I've definitely been the talk of the town from head to toe. But in the end, I don't think this is going to hurt Will's career. I don't think it's going to hurt Chris's career. If anything, it's probably going to boost up Chris's ticket sales when they start over here in the summertime. And, of course, Will, he just won his Oscar. Nobody's going to run away from Will Smith. Bel-Air's on fire right now. Everybody loves Bel-Air. He's not going anywhere.
Can I say one last thing?
Yes, Rob.
All of these men out here talking about, oh, I wouldn't have done this. Let me tell you something. Jada must have something that is supernatural. So that man did not want to go into the doghouse. So, he may have slapped Chris Rock. They lose some endorsements, but he ain't trying to lose that supernatural.
I'm done. I'm done. Rob is a good one, though, Rob. But you know what, Rob?
You want to be in the doghouse? You want to be in the doghouse? Better get your ass up there.
You know what?
That's for that West Philly.
Oh man! All right, y'all. Next topic on quick takes. All right, now this one's gonna be interesting because we're probably gonna go a couple minutes on this one. So I'm gonna give everybody a little bit of time on this one. So we're gonna go and do at least 3 minutes to kind of go and give me your top 5 men's and women's wrestlers. So Korrey, I'm gonna start with you on this one, man. I want your top 5 men and your top 5 women wrestlers. Who you got? Right now, currently. Let me make sure I say current wrestler, not Hogan or whatever, but current wrestler.
Well, let me preface my statements that I have no particular order because at certain times it's different people. But I would have to say in my top 5, of course, it has to be Roman. All around, Roman has been killing the game the last year and a half, 2 years. You got to look at my man Bryan Danielson over there on AEW. Technical wrestler, like it's hard to put anybody up against him. I gotta put my boy Finn on there. I'm a huge fan, as you can see. So Finn Balor, he doesn't get the respect he deserves. Man, after those 3, it's kind of tough for me. I think that Edge needs to be kind of sort of around that conversation right now because of his age and what he's doing right now. I think it's some of the best work of his entire career. So I have to put Edge in that. And then the 5th one, you can kind of go anywhere around the spectrum on that. I'll just go with Captain Cowboy shit. Excuse my language. Go with Adam Page. Adam Page is his matches are underrated since he's been AEW World Champion, especially the ones he had with DB and things like that. So those are my top 5 men, top 5 women. Looking at Dr. Britt Baker, her championship run was pretty good, very entertaining. I like what Jade Cargill, her potential is right now. I think they're doing the right things with her and pushing her in the right way. The next one, I would have to go. You got to go Charlotte Flair. She's annoying because they keep giving her championship reign. But Charlotte Flair has to be. If you're talking about actual women's wrestlers, you have to go with Charlotte. Bianca Belair right now, the woman is doing stuff that you've never seen women do before. So she needs her credit there. And the one that I, in this category, think is probably the most slept on and the one that is probably the best technical wrestler women's side right now is Sasha Banks.
Thank you.
That's what I like. That's what I was waiting for.
Sasha does not get the credit that she deserves. And to be frank with you, I'm kind of ticked off that she's in this tag team title match for Mania. I know we'll get to that a little later. But I'm a little upset at that. She has not had a WrestleMania moment yet to herself. And all the 3 other 4 horsewomen have had a WrestleMania moment. I think she's being robbed. And she does not get the credit that she deserves for elevating the other women in the division. Bianca's story last year without Sasha, period.
See that, and that's the thing, you know, like I'm saying, like she helps create the WrestleMania moment for everybody else. They always put her in the spot to make the WrestleMania moment. Robb, give me your top 5, brother. I know, right? Give me your top 5. Give me your top 5, Robb.
All right, I'm gonna piss everybody off, and I don't care. Because right now, I'm just gonna keep it real. So I'm going WWE because I frankly don't care about AEW because they'll be out of business or Vince will buy them. And a lot of the wrestlers will come back eventually to the company, like Cody Rhodes did. Realize where the money is and where the real place is. You can only be an outlaw for so long. Number 5, Naomi. I think she's doing great work. Her match against Charlotte Flair was spectacular. She has athleticism. She has all the flair, the glare, everything. She's got the look. My God, does she have the look. Number 4, I'm still going to go to Natalya. I think Natalya is still one of the top women's wrestlers in the world, in WWE. I think she does a great job. Her technical style, her background, just imagine how long this woman has been doing these things. Number 3, you're going to get mad at me, and I don't care, Queen Zelina. Because she's carrying that piece of trash in a tag team champion. I mean, just imagine having to go and be with Carmella. Horrible. Carmella was a horrible wrestler. I don't know what this whole ghetto attitude is. I don't know where she's from, but she's doing all this snap. Like, she's annoying. And Zelina's gotta go with that. So I think Zelina's been doing a great job in carrying that tag team. I think she's gonna have a good match on Sunday. Number 2, Sasha Banks, very easily one of the better wrestlers in the world. She's added this little sexy thing that she has coming down to the ring. I know you guys have noticed it, but when she gets in the ring, she handles business. Number 1, Bianca Belair. That girl's got a switch like that. I mean, she can go from being nice to being really cool to almost cutting Becky Lynch's irrelevant hair off. And you notice I didn't have Becky Lynch. I can't stand her. She's very irrelevant. She's not a tough woman. If Vince liked her, he would have put her in the match against Ronda Rousey. But after the match that she had at the Royal Rumble, he knew it would be a disaster. That match is going to be a disaster anyway against Flair. But the match, if she faced Ronda Rousey, it would be even more of a disaster. Now, quick 5 for the men, real quick. Randy Orton still on top of his game, doing his thing. Randy Orton has keeps elevating himself, and this time in tag team action. Omos, I love Omos, man. He's big. He's like an Andre the Giant type. He's a monster. I like it. The Big Show, I like it. I like the big man. If somebody the big man, I like. Yeah, I said it. Number 3, Bobby Lashley. He didn't get Bobby Lashley was robbed of the championship. You know it, and I know it. Brock Lesnar hasn't beaten him yet. Just stating the facts. Bobby Lashley's won at every level. Number 2, Riddle. I love me some Riddle. Riddle should be a future world champion. The guy is entertaining as hell, and in real life, he'll beat your ass. Number 1, Roman Reigns, the top dog, the big dog. Hasn't been pinned since 2019. He saved SmackDown, and he's going to soon save Raw. Roman Reigns. What else you got to say?
All right.
Hit me,
Drew. I mean, this has been pretty solid so far, Drew. Who you got, brother?
First of all, Rob, if we ever get AEW credentials, you're not going because they're not going to let you in, dude. After that one, because that was wild, dude. Like that was rough. As somebody who went to the first AEW Dynamite show with Darrell and the Subway, we got a great story for that. We cannot say on the show, but we have a great story from that from the AEW. There's going to be fire. That's not going anywhere. That's going to outlive WCW. But let me get back into my take. I agree with a little bit of what both of you said, and I've got a top 5 with. I was going to say like Korrey. It's kind of hard to put it and break it down in the top 5. I mean, I kind of like the way what Rob's top 5 was. I just don't like how he dissed AEW before he did it. But I'm going to start with the women's on mine, and like I said, I couldn't put it in a particular order. Got to start with Charlotte Flair. She's been on top for quite some time. She is a legend's daughter, and the genetics did pass down to her from the figure 4 to the figure 8. It's been a hell of a ride, especially for the past half decade to watch her, in WWE. But my list also does not just have just WWE. Next, I've got to go with someone who I think is going to probably have either the TBS championship or the women's championship here in the next year. It's going to be Chris Statlander is in my top 5 for that from AEW. I've got Sasha Banks, like Korrey said, for the technicality, and with Rob was saying it too. I've got Sasha Banks in my top 5 as well for the women's wrestlers. Jade Cargill from AEW is also in my top 5, and I've got DMD Britt Baker in my top 5 as well. Now, onto this one where I have a little bit more to talk about just from over the years of seeing, and this is a guy that you guys did not have in your top 5 that I have. I've got Chris Jericho in my top 5 just from what he's done in the past 30 years for professional wrestling, WWF, WWE, WCW, and now AEW. Just the transition of wrestling over the years. I've got Jericho in my top 5 from what has transcended in that, the fact that he's in his 50s and can keep up, the fact that he went from beer gut last year to actually having a 6-pack right now. I got Jericho in my top 5 because that's pretty badass to be able to pull that off. Randy Orton is also in my top 5. I have to agree with Rob that he's in my top 5 as well. I've got Bryan Danielson in there for technicality reasons. He's also in my top 5. Another one that I don't think you guys mentioned, Kenny Omega, is in my top 5 as well. He's in there in a solid, I would say, even if I had to put a number on it, he's at 4. And my man Korrey over here with cowboy shit, I'm going to say it because I just like that character, Hangman Adam Page. He, also from Virginia, is in my top 5. Screw you, Roman Reigns, and you've been hand-fed all this stuff through WWE. You've been hand-fed it. The Rock didn't need it hand-fed. The Rock took it, and he put boots to asses and made it happen. I was proud of The Rock in the late 90s, early 2000s. That was my guy, along with another guy we're going to talk about here soon, and that is the beer-swilling Mr. Stone Cold Steve Austin with this great can of beer right here. Thank you, Stone Cold. Got to put in the plug. Broken Skull IPA. Thank you, sir.
All right. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick one top 5. I'm not gonna be long on mine. All right, women's wrestlers, and I'm not gonna go in a particular order. I gotta go with Sasha. Sasha's definitely in there. Jade Cargill has the potential to be amazing. She's got everything: the look, the body, the skill set, and it's like I said, she's growing. That's the thing. Like she's probably 5 if I had to put her in the top 5, but she's got real good potential to be number 1. I got Bianca Belair in there. And then I said Sasha Banks already, right? That's Sasha Banks.
No, not yet.
All right, so Sasha Banks, and then I gotta go with if she was active. I mean, I don't know if to say if she's active or not because you haven't seen her in a while, and that's Asuka.
Yeah.
Like we just haven't seen Asuka. Like, where is she? So if she's current, I would throw her in there. But if just for purposes, I'll put Britt Baker in there for sure. On the men's side, Roman is. I mean, and I know how you feel. I know how you feel. But I will say this: the growth, even with the hand fade, if you would say, the growth in his in-ring ability and his stage presence is a completely different dream. So I'm going to give Roman love there. And then it gets a little tough after this. So Roman, Edge, and I throw Edge in there because Edge is definitely doing some of the best work I've ever seen. They changed his theme song. People got mad, but I said, no, if you listen to the theme song, everything is just like, it just works. And it's something about this Edge that I have to like. I don't know what it is, but I have to like it. And then I would throw, I technically, I still say he's current wrestler, but Bray Wyatt, because Bray's my guy. And I'm not going to say anything bad about Bray. And then I can say anything bad about Bray. And then I think last but not least, oh boy, this is a tough one. I think I'm gonna go with Bobby Lashley. And now that they've kind of turned, they're trying to make him hit like a face now. And you just the vibe that he had on Monday night. That's the first time I was like, man, I like how they've turned this for Bobby. Now, they did a good job of making the face turn, especially again going against Omos, because in most people's eyes they hate this guy. They hate Omos. Because unfortunately, you know how WWE, they're doing it perfectly. They're feeding them all of these guys that, whatever. They give them the Viking Raiders or whatnot. And like, okay, great. And they're just tossing people to him. And he's making it look good. Big test on Sunday against Lashley. So I'm intrigued to see that. So that's my top 5. That's my top 5. That's what I'm going with. So, yeah.
Hey, Darrell,
please, Bray, come back.
Hey, Darrell, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Who's the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Whatever.
Let me ask you something. Who did he hire as head coach last year?
Last year?
Urban Meyer.
Don't
right?
you make me play the video, Rob? I'll do it. Don't you give me a trouble here playing this video.
Hey, Urban Meyer, right? Urban Meyer, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. His son, they invested about $40 million. AEW is gonna turn. See me in 10 years by AEW. You know why? Because Vince is gonna buy all his players. That's why I ain't say nothing, because this is WrestleMania, baby. This is not AEW. This is WrestleMania. Keep it WrestleMania. Keep it WWE. And I don't want credentials to AEW because, quite frankly, I don't want to go to AEW. WWE all day.
Okay. Well, while the rest of us over here on Island Awesome at AEW pay-per-views covered it backstage in 10 years, we're going to call you and FaceTime you and be like, Rob, remember that podcast where you were talking smack and we're talking so low about them? You had the chance. We would have just said, Rob, come with us. But you had to talk back about AEW.
It won't hurt me none because I already get to go events there all year.
Sasha Banks will be in AEW in 10 years. Watch. And you'll be all saying, what are you going to say about Sasha Banks then, Rob?
Boy, I hope not. God, I hope not.
And Snoop Dogg will be doing her theme song in AEW. What's up? Do it. 10 years.
Let's hope not. Next one. Let's go into our main topics, and we're going to talk, ladies and gentlemen, WWE Hall of Fame. WWE Hall of Fame is actually tomorrow night. So we got 5 inductees in there. You got the Undertaker. You got we got Vader in that bad boy. The Steiner brothers, Queen Sharmell, and then of course Shad Gaspard gets the Warrior Award. And it's a somber situation with Shad. Shad and losing his life after saving his son. So it's a little bit of a tough one here, but definitely want to go over this one for y'all. I want your thoughts on the Hall of Fame class. Do you like the class? Whatnot? Rob, we're going to start with you this time. What are your thoughts on the Hall of Fame class? Everybody, we're getting 2 minutes here.
All right, I'm gonna get very serious here because the Chad Gaspard thing really bothers me because he told lifeguards to save his son. I'm reading from the article and whatnot. He's told them to save his son, and he was swept up by the rip current. That was May 17, 2020. that's just huge, man. And like I said, he definitely deserved it. So I think that, we should give a round of applause, and that's one reason to tune in. The Steiner brothers. I grew up on the Steiner brothers. Love the Steiner brothers. They were the 1990 Tag Team of the Year. Their epic feuds with WWF, Money Inc., and a few other teams. Then their epic feuds with the Harlem Heat. God, they had some great matches with the Harlem Heat. And then the Outsiders. When the Outsiders came, Hall and Nash, God rest his soul, Scott Hall, they had some great matches. Rick and Scott Steiner, the Frankensteiner, the Bulldog off the second rope, all that stuff. Just a great tag team. Then we have Vader. Vader, one of the innovators, he's the Dirk Nowitzki of wrestling. He did things you didn't see before a big man do. Him and Bam Bam Bigelow jumping off the top rope, doing moonsaults. I love Vader. The match he lost to, he had to agree to it. He lost to Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons becoming the first black heavyweight champion in professional wrestling history in '93. He had to have signed off on that, and he was always a good dude. Queen Sharmell. You got to realize, guys, Booker T is a dude from Houston, Texas. He had to transition from his character to King Booker.
King Booker, baby.
She was instrumental in that character. People do not give enough credit. I do want to see Jazz get in, though. Jazz deserves to be in.
Yeah, that's
last but not least, guys, give me real quick on this. The Undertaker. I saw him in '97 at the Richmond Coliseum. Never against Steve Austin. Never saw a crowd like that. Couldn't get out the Coliseum for 3 hours. Didn't get home to 3 o'clock in the morning. I think I was 8 years old. And then Armageddon, the last time I saw The Undertaker against Mr. Kennedy in 2006. This guy, The Undertaker, debuted in 1990. A year later, 25 years old, beat Hulk Hogan, the immortal Hulk Hogan. Nothing else needs to be said. This is probably one of the greater Hall of Fame classes ever.
Very solid Hall of Fame class. Drew, now before I go to you, Drew, I wish I could see this poster of King Booker and Sharmell I have on my wall that I got at a wrestling event, No Mercy, October 8th, back in 2007. I'm going to have to show y'all after the show is over, but yes, this is a masterpiece. I got it hanging right beside the TV. All right, Drew, with all that being said, we swing to you, brother.
I have to agree with Rob as far as this is one of the better Hall of Fame classes we've seen in quite some time. I think it's bittersweet that we're just now inducting Vader into the Hall of Fame. I feel like that should have been done not posthumously, should have been done during his lifetime. In the Steiners, with what they provided to both WWF and WCW as well, from the late 80s to the 90s and early 2000s with their runs in both, they did great for both companies. Queen Sharmell, I feel like even though this is in Texas, and Rob brought up a very, very great point with that, the timing and everything works out really well, but I feel like it should have been done back when Booker T was originally inducted. When the solo, not with the Harlem Heat induction, but his solo induction, I feel like they should have been done with that together, but maybe just with whichever venue that was at, it just didn't work out for timing and traveling and stuff. But with Vader and stuff, with the posthumously with that one, I feel like because he was a WCW champion, that should have probably been done during his lifetime. But maybe because I think didn't he pass away with like a heart attack or something when he did, or was it heart issues or something towards the end?
It was like a couple years ago. It was like 2 or 3 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, maybe he was just in too bad of health, later on. But if you think about it, it was either 2015 or 2016. They brought back Vader for a one-off on one of those Raw 25s or something like that, and he did a squash match or whatnot and won that. I feel like if he was going to come back around that, he was in good enough health then and did that. Why couldn't he have been at the following year's WrestleMania and did it during a lifetime? Maybe there was something going on with Vince. There was a lot of talk back in the 90s. I don't know if y'all ever heard this story with Vader about that mask, about how stinky that mask was. And every time they would hit him, it was like, back then, it actually hit Vader or whatnot because he was kind of stiff. So when they would hit Vader or whatnot, that stench, every time you would hit the mask or whatnot or smack it, it would come back. Like I don't know if I've ever seen the documentaries, but that just makes me think about that time frame. Maybe it was something with that. That's why he had to go now.
That sounds miserable. Korrey, what are your thoughts on this Hall of Fame class, brother?
I'm gonna go left a little bit with this Hall of Fame class. Besides Shad Gaspard, God rest his soul, he deserves the Warrior Award and things of that nature. Listening to Rob talk about his last moments again and stuff like that kind of makes me feel some type of way as a father. I can't imagine myself being in that position, but I know I would do the same thing that he did to save my child. But I will say that, in my humble opinion, there should be nobody else on the same Hall of Fame ticket as The Undertaker. The Undertaker is a transcendent type of talent. Who else in the wrestling history has been more relevant than The Undertaker over 30 years? I dare anybody to find somebody that was as relevant as Undertaker for 30 whole years. I mean, even with the changes with his character, Mark Calloway was so in tune that when the Attitude Era came upon and he saw that everybody was starting to get great at promo skills and things like that. Oh, I can't be this guy that just says rest in peace and keep going anymore. I got to get on here and jump with these guys too. I got to keep with them. Hence the American Badass and everything else. So he was so in tune with wrestling, never, ever, ever, ever broke his character. This is the most we have seen Mark Calloway ever. Didn't take pictures with people, none of that stuff. He was in character for 30 years. I think with the way that he has helped Vince put WWE on the map, kept it on the map, and was that locker room leader that everybody looked to, that example, he deserved his own time, his own Hall of Fame ceremony, in my opinion.
I like that. All right, so here, this is mine. I will say this. Steiners, one of the, great tag teams growing up, the Frankenstein. I mean, a whole 9 yards. It was just amazing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm probably one of the one people I hated when he switched over to Papa Pump. I wasn't a huge Papa Pump. I mean, it was hilarious. Holla if you hear all that other stuff. But I loved them as
like the Steiner recliner?
Yeah, Steiner recliner. I love them as a tag team. I'm very intrigued to see how Braun Breaker, the son, Rick Steiner's son, see how he does at the next level when they do decide to move him up into that spotlight. Also, Shad Gaspard. I was a huge Crime Time guy. I'm still hurt till this day they didn't get a tag team title run. Why that didn't happen, I'm just gonna let that one alone. But I love them as a tag team. And he's obviously a great man, a great father. And like Korrey said, when you see something like this happen, and as a father, you're like, man, you make that ultimate sacrifice for your kids. You want your kids to live and live through you. So I'm praying for his family. I know it's been 2 years, but I still remember hearing about it to this day, and I was still shocked. That was right in the midst of COVID. We were only 2 months in, and it was crazy. Queen Sharmell, I will say this, yes. I agree. I wish he would have went in with Booker. A lot of people there was a lot of people hating on this one, but Queen Sharmell was very influential in that situation. There's people that are way worse than Queen Sharmell that have gotten into this Hall of Fame. So I don't want to. And then here real quick, just to see if I can show that up to y'all real quick. That is the poster that's on the wall with Queen Sharmell and Booker T. That's the fire. And then, Vader is just one of those tough, great 80s, 90s wrestlers, former world champion. And he's just one of those guys. He gets in the ring. I didn't know about the mask thing. That's actually hilarious. You heard about the mask thing. That's hilarious. But he's definitely one of the tough ones. And to Korrey's point, The Undertaker, one of the greatest of all time, easily was able to change his character from The Undertaker to the American Badass. And when he went to the American Badass, he was like, oh, man, how's this going to work? It worked just fine. This man got 3 or 4 theme songs that are absolutely amazing. Don't tell me every time you hear rolling, 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 you didn't get a cold chill up your spine and you see my man come out on the motorcycle. So, much love to this class. It's a really solid class for only 5 people. It's a really solid class for only 5 people. So I'm excited to actually watch the Hall of Fame tomorrow night. Actually excited. Rob?
I mean, man, you've convinced me. Like, all these other people are great, and I think they maybe should have gone and made last year, next year. But when you talk about The Undertaker, and just give me a quick.
Go ahead.
You think about not only that, but you think about You're Gonna Pay. You think about that song. You get hype on that song.
Yep.
You think about the careers that he's made. You look at a guy like a Yokozuna. You look at their rivalry. You look at when Mabel broke his face. Undertaker signed off on giving Mabel a chance. Okay, right. He broke his face and he came out with the most scary looking mask in the history of professional wrestling. Then you got to think about his rivalry with Bret Hart. People talk about the Attitude Era, the Undertaker with his rivalry with Bret Hart. And my God, that rivalry with Shawn Michaels was already a great performer. He took him to the next level.
Right.
And think about who Kane was before Kane became Kane. He
That's
was a
it right
dentist.
Dr. DDS, baby.
He was a fake Diesel. His career was sputtering. We didn't know
It
how
was
it was
a
going to
dentist.
go. In that the first ever Hell in a Cell match, when he came down that ramp, how the Undertaker acted the next few months would determine Kane became a legend. You went from a dentist, a fake Diesel, to a Hall of Famer. That was one of the great feuds of all time. And then you're talking about him and Mankind, one of the more iconic moments, and how Undertaker stayed professional during that time. Guys, do you understand, and people out there, and people always talk about injuries and how it doesn't apply to wrestling, and wrestling's fake. Do people understand what the Undertaker went through? It makes me want to look at Baker Mayfield and tell him shut the hell up, because the stuff that guys, I'm being dead serious here. Go back and look at some of the injuries that the Undertaker wrestled with. I mean, think about this, guys. Look at the 2000s, what he did on SmackDown 10, 15 years in. We talk about Roman Reigns saving SmackDown. The matches with CM Punk, the way he made Batista look good, and don't even get me started on how he made an average Triple H in the ring look like he was a god.
Well,
I'm done.
Remember, he gave Maven some love too in the Royal Rumble. Maven people.
Yes.
Virginia. Drew, what are your thoughts real quick before we move on?
So I purposely wanted to give love to the others and kind of leave Undertaker out of it because I wanted to give you guys the platform because I was going to wait to see if you talked about a couple things. There's a couple people else that he made. At first, Stephanie McMahon's real first interaction with WWF was that corporate ministry line when she was, being taken away, but it was actually Vince, that was doing it, not, the Vince was the mastermind behind that. And also, Booker T got him to do the Taker-Rooney, okay? Y'all remember when, you remember when he got down and he did the Taker-Rooney or whatnot, when he was in the American Badass character? Booker T did that too. So there was a lot of great things that Booker T also helped him out with, but also that he did that we overshadowed with. And the Taker-Rooney was the number one that I was expecting Rob to talk about, but he didn't bring it up. So there you go, Rob. Taker-Rooney.
Korrey,
You do it. I want to see Rob do the Taker-Rooney WrestleMania weekend. And I'll put my championship on the line.
Not a big fan of the Rooney. Not a big fan of the Rooney.
Hey, Korrey, before we move to the next topic, anything else you want to say, brother?
Nah, man. I made my point, man. Undertaker should have his own class. That is it.
Yeah.
He is that iconic.
And the real. Also, he got away with killing a man. Big boss.
Oh man, you know what? I forgot about that. Yeah. All right, look, next topic. Now we get into the meat of things, ladies and gentlemen. WrestleMania 38. Now we're gonna do our predictions, but before we get into the predictions for the matches, we want to kind of talk about the match that we're excited about and the match we're not so excited about. So first, we're gonna start with the match we're not so excited about. Korrey, I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
You better do it, Korrey. You better do it, Korrey. Right now, man.
What match are you not excited about, Korrey? We got 2 minutes on this one.
Johnny Knoxville, Sami Zayn,
You just started
Logan Paul, and The Miz. Do I need to keep going?
No. I mean, it's up to you.
I mean,
Get one.
Check this out. So it's like 15 matches over the 2 nights, right?
Right.
And probably about 10 of them I don't care about. Just being completely honest, the storylines are crap. I mean, there's no substance on there. These doggone celebrities have no business being on WrestleMania when you have folks like Ricochet and Balor sitting on the back end and other superstars who could be on this card to make this card what it's supposed to be. I'm tired of the whole entertainment aspect. I know it's World Wrestling Entertainment. I get it. But 2 wrestling? Oh, don't let me get Pat McAfee. Forgot about him. I mean, like, come on. Like, this is utterly ridiculous. 15 matches over 2 nights. 10 of them I don't care about. Somebody else can have the other minute. I'm over it.
Drew, I'll give you that time frame, Drew. What match are you just not?
Do it, Drew.
Why you start breathing at me?
This whole Happy Corbin character, man. I hate it, man. How do you go from homeless to happy so quick? It doesn't happen like that in the real world. I hate that character, but I have to agree with Korrey. There's so many bad storylines. The whole Sami Zayn, Johnny Knoxville one, the Miz and Logan Paul. They have to bring all of these celebrities in to fill these voids because all these guys are jumping to AEW. Sorry, Rob, but they're jumping to AEW. So they're trying to fill these voids with stars that can't wrestle.
Stop it.
So Pat McAfee, that is not somebody that should be in this category because he can actually wrestle. He proved that on NXT, so I'm not even bringing that one up on this. But my number one that I had on this list was Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville because at least out of the ones that I don't like, this one is probably going to be the one that has the least amount of talent because Sami Zayn's going to carry him unless Johnny Knoxville in his later age has done a lot of training to where he can actually pull this off. I don't think he's like Pat McAfee. He can do that. He did a lot of jackass stunts, but that's not professional wrestling. Pat McAfee acts like a jackass sometimes, but at least he's entertaining with that and can wrestle at the same time. He can put the two and two together in the ring. I don't think Johnny Knoxville can.
All right, Rob, what are your thoughts on this bad boy?
Oh man, you guys are so damn negative, man. Let me tell you something right now. let me say this. Like you talk about the Usos match against Shinsuke and Rick Boo. I think this is the opportunity for Rick Boogs to turn heel. I think there's gonna be a lot of surprises. When you talk about the match, what was the match we were talking about between the Rey Mysterio and the Miz and all that? The Miz is entertaining, man. The Miz always puts on good matches. I mean, he even made the match with Edge and his wife look good. I think that Dominic Mysterio is gonna turn on his dad. I think that we are underestimating some of these storylines. I heard somebody talk about the women's match. They don't want to see it. I think the women's match will be pretty good because you have Sasha and Naomi. I think that they'll continue to build their profile, especially Naomi. She needs it. I think, and like you guys said, I think some of the matches will be decent. The Happy Corbin thing, I think either Madcap or Happy Corbin are going to turn heel, and I think they'll get into a tag. One of them get into a tag team with Drew McIntyre. I think it'll be interesting because they've had a lot going on the last few, months or whatever. So I think that'd be an interesting dynamic. Now the match that I hate the most, I'll play the Precious theme song for you. Darrell, you know where I'm going with this.
Don't do it. I can't. It is the worst theme song in wrestling. I don't care what anybody say. It does not fit her.
Give me a second.
It does not fit her. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead. My fault. You got. No, Rob. No, stop playing it. Stop playing it.
Something. She's plain. She's boring. She makes my skin crawl. I don't like her.
Makes my skin crawl.
I like Charlotte. Don't get me wrong. I like Charlotte. But every time I look at her, I think of Rick. It makes her. Listen. This match is going to end up getting booed. I don't like either one of them. Drew, you can look at me all you want to. This match, I don't care about it. Sasha, I'm not Sasha, but Becky Lynch against Bianca Belair is a feature women's match. I'm telling you guys, listen, they're talking about Ronda having a 1-year run with the title. This is SmackDown. Who's on SmackDown? Sasha Banks, etc. Guys, I'm telling you, this match is going to get booed. And another thing about these two women, they are very, very sensitive. My God. Ronda Rousey lost a UFC match. She damn near went on whatever mode. I don't want to see it, man.
Okay, all right. For me,
get out of here.
The match. This is for me. It's Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. I don't want to see that trash. Why is that even happening? Let's toss that out there. And I know every year that WrestleMania. But I will say this on the celebrity front. Even though as pure wrestling fans we hate it. But let's be honest, WrestleMania has always had a celebrity in there at some point pretty much throughout the whole 38 years. It's always somebody. We had Tyson, you had Mr. T, you always had Lawrence Taylor. I can go on and on. So the celebrity part, it is what it is.
It's about the dollars, Darrell. It's about the dollars.
But the fact is he's trash. This match is going to be
about the dollars.
I hope it surprised me. Surprisingly, I think that the Pat McAfee and Austin Theory match might be a little bit more intriguing than people think, because Pat did actually put up a pretty good match against Adam Cole. It was still some hit and misses here and there, but that's the one I don't care. That and probably Rey Mysterio and the Mysterios versus the Miz and I don't want to see that.
Well, Darrell,
I'm not a Paul fan. I'm not one of the Paul.
Well, Darrell, you got to figure, right? Vince McMahon's gonna give his new HBK time on TV because behind the scenes,
Whatever.
You know what's happening.
No, we're not doing it. We're not.
You know what's going on here.
Next one. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we slide to our next one. We want the match that we just cannot wait to see. And I'm telling you, I got one in my mind that I just know I'm super excited about this match. I know it's going to deliver. So with this, I'm gonna go first. I just want to get mine out of the way. I'm gonna let y'all fly. For me, Edge and AJ Styles, and I don't think it's close. But that's just my opinion because it's gonna be two technicians. And Rob, you said it many times. Let me put myself on the clock. I want to be on stage. Look, Rob has said it many times himself. AJ Styles, in his opinion, is one of the, if not the best wrestler in the world. Rob, you've said this. I've heard you say it on many occasions. Our man Sean Robinson from CBS 6 is still giving you dirty looks because you said this on multiple occasions. But I will say this though: Edge delivered last year. He delivered the year before. And I'm almost 100% he's going to deliver this time. And this is actually probably one of the better storylines heading into it. Even though it was a short one, Edge is that good. He makes this storyline just that good. I chose you, AJ Styles. It's going to be a good match. I'm super excited on. That's mine. Now, with all that being said, I'm going to swing to Drew. Drew, give me your match that you are just too excited about.
Whether it's a match or not, I am excited about Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back because if you want to see my notes right here, I can even show you where I said opens up a can of whoop ass, stomps mud hole, and drinks a lot of Broken Skull beers. What's going to be happening on this WrestleMania is what I got because right here, I even had to specially order this Broken Skull IPA because it's hard to get. Got to give love to Total Wine and Beer, whatever it is, Midlothian, because that's one of the only 3 places in the state of Virginia where you can get it. So shout out to them, a small plug to them, because I got plenty of these for WrestleMania weekend. Thank you very much. Other than that, Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back, guys, after 19 years. He's been at other WrestleMania events, but he's going to stomp a mud hole into Kevin Owens for especially last week coming out in the bald-headed little mask thing and going up there and then wasting fine beer. You can waste Budweiser or whatever you want, but this is actually fine beer. So again, I'm going to plug this. Stone Cold Steve Austin's Broken Skull IPA. Go pick it up if you can. It is fantastic, guys. Do it. You're doing yourself a favor. Please go do it. Have a great WrestleMania weekend. That is my take.
Sorry, Rob. What match are you excited the most to see? Which one are you excited about?
First of all, Steve Austin, and he's afraid to go to Canada because he knows Bret Hart will show up and stomp a mud hole in his ass.
Don't do it.
Kevin Owens.
Rob!
Rob! Go to Canada. Steve Austin won't go to Canada. Second of all,
wow.
What's excited about? I'm excited about the real world's champion. I'm talking about old school when Ric Flair came to WWE, he claimed himself the real world's champion. I'm talking about the real world's champion, Bobby Lashley against Omos. I hope he puts him in the lock. I hope he puts him in the hurt lock. I hope he picks him up. This sets up Bobby Lashley for Money in the Bank, I feel like. Get the momentum going, etc. You got a really, really big guy against a really powerful guy. Hopefully they do it right. I'm excited about that match. Not going to lie, I'm also excited about Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. You say why? The buildup has been great. And Paul Heyman has been funny as hell. Remember the other day when they were in the garage? And you remember when they were getting ready to come through? They were getting ready to smash truck. He's like, "Oh my god!" Just a great feud so far. So those two matches I'm looking forward to. And again, Steve Austin won't show up in Canada.
Before I go to Korrey, I will say this. I want to add on to you, Rob. You know, they've done a really good job of building that match. This has been going on for months. And that's how you build a match heading towards WrestleMania. And obviously, we all know they're unifying the titles, which also means new championship belt. It better be a nice one. It better not be trash WWE. Korrey, what do you got on this one? What match you can't wait to see?
Come on, Korrey. Don't do it to me.
Of course, it's Edge and AJ. I think that's going to be probably the match of the weekend, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna go a different route. I'm gonna go the women's route. I'm going to go Bianca and Becky. And this is the reason why. My hope is that Bianca beats the living hell out of Becky. I want to see her thrash her beyond belief. This storyline started off terrible, by the way. The whole 26-second thing at SummerSlam, not get me started. I'll flip this desk over right now. That thing was horrendous. It was terrible. And how do you stop somebody's momentum who had been dominant for 5 whole months up to that point? Now, if Becky had did something that was a heel-like tactic when she came back and won the title, that would be one thing. Then you kind of playing that storyline down the road. All right, but you had to see Bianca basically start all over again without the thought process or the hopes of is she's going to get another title shot because she technically really didn't lose. I'm like, it was just a mess. But the way the storyline has played the last few weeks with the attacks, with the her threatening to cut Bianca's hair, but Bianca ended up cutting her hair. Now she looks like a terrible Karen soccer mom. I think this match is going to steal the show for the women with Bianca coming out handling her business. So that is the match I'm looking forward to.
All right.
Hey, Korrey,
come on with it, brother.
I gotta say something to you, Korrey.
What's up?
And you made a lot of great points. This is my fear that Becky Lynch wins the match and the wrestling community calls her Triple H.
Don't.
Because if she wins this match, they will be calling her the Grave Digger 2.0.
I agree.
I do not want to see that. Drew.
I do have to go back on something that Darrell said. I kind of think that the sleeper match with this is going to be the Pat McAfee Austin Theory match. That's if I was going to get real and like talk about a match because Stone Cold's match probably not going to be a real match. They're probably not going to be a referee. but with Pat McAfee, with what he did with Adam Cole and diving off the moonsault off the cage and everything, I'm interested to see on what he could pull off with Austin Theory, and maybe he can transition from the booth and from broadcasting on over to the ring, and maybe can do a little bit of both because if he's proven that he can actually keep up in that War Games match, maybe this will be actually something that'll be special to see come this weekend.
Yeah, you're making too much money.
Well, I'll give him
making too much money on FanDuel.
Credit, man.
He said you make too much money on FanDuel. But he ain't trying to go broke.
Not full time, but maybe 4 to 6 times a year, and maybe might make a sleeper championship run. Maybe not on the World Championship, but maybe on like a U.S. or Intercontinental or something.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Pat McAfee. He's a lot better than Corey Graves. I wish he'd go to AEW or something.
He would actually bring more ratings for AEW. So bring him on to AEW. I would love to see it, and we could have some real neck and neck rating stuff like WCW back in the day. Keep talking that smack, Rob. It's gonna happen.
Hey,
keep doing it. Don't talk smack about our AEW.
Hey Corey, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Did you watch Nitro last week? Oh, that's why it's on TV.
All right. Let's go.
Dynamite is a synonym to Nitro, Rob, so keep on doing it. Boom. Keep on talking.
Y'all are hilarious. All right, so let's go to the next one. Now, finally, ladies and gentlemen, we give you our predictions. Now, some of these matches we're gonna cruise through. Some of these matches we're not gonna cruise through. So I'm not gonna put no time limit on this, but we're gonna try to keep it tight for y'all. And we're going to give you our predictions for WrestleMania 38. We're going to start off with night 1. So, fellas, what we're going to do, we're going to go around here. When we do get to one out, we kind of talk about it a little bit. We'll go in a little bit deeper one. But first, let's go ahead and just do a quick prediction here for the Mysterios versus The Miz and Logan Paul. Drew, who do you got winning this one?
I've got the Miz and Logan Paul actually winning this one for some weird reason. When I was going through this and cruising through, I just feel like it's going to kind of be one of those matches where we're kind of be left scratching our head at the end of it, wondering why they won. But that's who I've got winning.
Korrey, who do you got in this one?
I actually got the Mysterios. The Miz and Logan Paul has had heat in the past. I think Logan Paul will turn on Miz.
All right. Rob, what do you got in this one?
I got Logan Paul and the Miz. The Mysterios are gonna break up. Booyaka. They're gonna take each other. They're gonna take his mask off. I mean, come on. What's up with the mask, dude? I mean, we already seen Rey Mysterio when he went gangster.
They try to have him like we didn't see him.
He had the bare face. You remember when he took Conan's song?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've already seen him bare face.
And he had the horns, and he had the little horns on his head.
Oh my God, that's the toss back for you.
Yeah. Miz and Logan Paul.
I think I'm going Miz and Logan Paul too. The Miz lost last year. Him and Morrison lost to Bunny and all that stuff. But he
came to play, Darrell. He came to play.
They like to see the celebrity win in these scenarios. So I'm going to go with Miz and Logan Paul. Next one. Rob, will start with you. Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin with Madcap Moss, which is a horrible name for a wrestler. Just tossing that out there, Madcap Moss. Horrible name for a wrestler. Rob, who you got in this one?
I don't give a shit.
All right, great. Korrey, who do you have in this match? All right. Drew, who do you have in this match? Oh, no. All right. Enough has been said by the panel. I think we move on. Next one, we got the Usos. Jay and Jimmy, taking on Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick. Ooh. Drew, who do you got?
Ooh.
All right. I'm gonna say I got the Usos winning this one just because with Roman Reigns is most likely gonna be the one that wins that match too. I'm gonna pick Usos just to keep them together.
Korrey, who you got?
Heart says Usos, Mann says Boogs and Shinsuke, because this might be the start to be the implosion of the bloodline, which will lead to next year's WrestleMania main event.
Intrigued. I want to know something a little about that later. Rob, who do you got in this one?
You start getting that feeling on your neck when you're coming down to the ring of WrestleMania and you about to know what's about to happen. Welcome to the Uso.
Sounds like a plan on that one. Next one, we got the New Day taking on Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and let's call him who he really is, Pete Dunne. Because I'm still mad about the fact that they changed my man name to Butch. Korrey, who you got in this one? Korrey, don't do me like this.
No, in all seriousness though, I think Sheamus and Ridge take it.
All right. Rob, who do you got in this one?
They dropped King Woods. I mean, Kofi's chest is still parting. Man, it's going to be a count out.
Drew, who do you get?
All right. Even though it's the storyline within this sucks too, because of everything that's gone on with Big E and everything, I feel like with the outpouring of support, they're going to give the New Day to win on this one. That's who's going to get the win on this WrestleMania.
I think we've gotten through all the non-exciting matches. So let's kind of get into some of the meat on this bad boy. We got the two women's matches. First, Seth Rollins. And this is the interesting one. Seth Rollins, according to Wikipedia, TBA, which is to be announced later, a.k.a. Tabubi. I want to know with this one, who do you think he's going to face? And if he does win in that scenario. So, Rob, who do you think Seth Rollins is actually, who do you think the opponent is going to be? And does he win the match?
Shane Mann's going to come out. The music's going to play. The crowd is going to be pissed. He's going to get to the ring. And then what's going to happen is Cody Rhodes' music is going to hit. He's going to face Seth Rollins. And it should be a pretty decent match. Let's just hope nothing stupid happens, guys. That's all I'm telling you.
So nothing stupid happens.
Let's just hope
Hornswoggle.
nothing stupid happens. I mean, because if they screw this up, man, the ramifications could be there for a long.
How about WWE, Rob? Remember that.
Or you know something else I was thinking about, and I know this is not going to happen. It would be so cool for Finn Balor to come out as a demon, and Seth Rollins win that prestigious. I call it the prestigious United States Heavyweight Championship, which is well underused.
It is a gorgeous belt. Just probably one of the better belts. So when y'all are making the new world title, think about that. Drew, what are your thoughts on this one? Who's going to be the opponent and who wins?
I feel like if Shane comes out, it's a panic mode move. It'd be the only way because of how he was ushered out at the Royal Rumble and all that drama that they were talking about that was going on behind the scenes. But that I highly doubt it's going to be Shane O'Mac. But something kind of tells me, even though all this hype's been going on with Cody, back when AEW first started, and I was talking about this with you guys before we started the show, all the EVPs signed a 5-year deal with AEW when it first started. So where did those last 2 years go on Cody and Brandy's contracts? Is he going to kind of come back as a heel and bring back Ring of Honor since they bought that and kind of do some better invasion story this time? Maybe they can pull that off in AEW's what I think is going to do to boost them up, Rob, and see what happens with AEW. But in all reality, maybe he did back out and maybe this is real. If Cody comes out, whoever it is going to beat Seth Rollins, but I kind of feel like I'm with you guys. It's going to be Cody. Cody's going to win. It's going to be the American Nightmare gimmick. He owns all the rights to it. If he does show up in WWE this weekend, it's coming as the American Nightmare because you can't remove that tattoo on your neck. It's permanent. He's coming out in that character. He's coming out in the music, and he's coming back in a similar type of Titantron when he comes out. It's going to be that character on a bigger stage, and we can actually see if he gets a title run, a heavyweight championship run, because in AEW, for all of us fans, Robb, that we go back to the beginning, he lost at the beginning to where he cannot have a heavyweight championship match. So now it's time to go to WWE and get that heavyweight championship match. Then go back, take over AEW, and then they're going to win the war. Thank you very much.
All right, Korrey, what do you got on this one, brother? Like, who do you think the opponent's going to be, and who you got winning?
Well, let me address Brother Robb real quick. It is blasphemous if you think that guy is coming out and he gonna lose to Seth Rollins after they just made him lose to Roman Reigns and he ain't lost on the main roster yet. Absolutely not, sir. So let's move on here. It's a couple of options here. I think it's going to be Cody. I do, because $3 million a year speaks a lot. So you know, AEW was not going to pay him that type of money. And I'm pretty sure Vince is going to shell him out because he's a total different package, total different character, total different attraction than he was when he left as Stardust when he left WWE the first time.
He come back as Dashing Cody Rhodes. I'm ready.
So it was horrendous the first time, but I think now that he's established, he's better on the mic, promo wise, etc. I can see him coming back. But I want to play Fantasyland real quick.
All right, Fantasyland. Let's go.
In my mind, I'm thinking.
Yes, I was gonna say the same thing. Please, Lord,
I'm thinking is that, and the way my brain plays out, I think it would be cool. Number one, to make it up for what happened last year, because last year was a freaking debacle of how they treated him.
They always treat my man wrong.
They always did him wrong, and you know it's a great way to get him started back up again with the whole revenge tour, because he got a lot of people to get some revenge against.
Yes,
so I could definitely see that happening. That's what I would like to happen.
Korrey, you spoke for me on that one, so I'm not even going to say anything because you everything I was thinking, you said it. You definitely.
Darrell.
Yeah.
I'll say something. The last time we saw Seth Rollins against Bray Wyatt or The Fiend or whatever, he kicked out of like 17 curb stomps. And I will never I will never forgive Bray Wyatt / The Fiend for making that plain short lady relevant in Alexa Bliss. Because as soon as he left, let me listen, guys, and I'll give him credit for that. As soon as he left, what happened to that character? It went to complete and utter dumpster.
It's still going on.
Why?
Yeah.
For what?
But I mean, she hasn't been on TV since Elimination Chamber, though, which is which is trash.
The vignettes. She's at the vignettes.
Maybe
with the site work with the
yeah, and then she came back to Elimination Chamber, and she hasn't been back since.
You know what? Screw it. Bring back Hulk Hogan this weekend against Seth Rollins.
That's it. All right,
I'll bring back Hulk Hogan, Rob. Throw back lunchbox right there. I brought him back. Here you go. He's here. He's here. You want to say something to him? What's up?
All right,
there he is. What's up, brother?
Talk about both women championship matches are on night one. So let's talk about the one I think we least care about the most, and that's Charlotte versus Ronda. Korrey, I'm gonna let you start with this one. Charlotte versus Ronda. Who do you have winning this match? You know, what are your thoughts?
Ronda, 1 year title run until she runs into Becky next year. I'm done.
Wow, Drew. Drew.
I hope that doesn't happen, but I mean, you guys have been talking about that. I haven't heard about that, but I really hope that doesn't happen. That would be like the Brock Lesnar holding the Universal title hostage a few years ago. That was miserable for us. That's why I was so glad when AEW was born. Rob, sorry, but like that's why I'm so glad, because we were in that debacle of Brock Lesnar just holding on to it. I'm gonna give him my plane and show up in 30 days to defend it, type of stuff. Like, and sometimes we wouldn't see it for 2 months because it would be the other show's pay-per-view. Then we finally got them together on one pay-per-view. So as a fan, no, don't want to see that again. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that Ronda wins, but I hope it don't last a year.
Rob, what do you got?
Both of them get booed out the stadium. They both cry running out there. Either hit each other with chairs or fall out. I don't know. I don't want to see it, man. Ronda Rousey had no business winning the Royal Rumble, and everything about her just annoys me. And I mean, God bless her. She's got a child. She's married. She's got a great career. Whatever.
Look, it is. I'm gonna say it one more time before we move on to the next match. The match that we really want to talk about. Look, it is the worst theme song for a character I've ever heard. I know it's a
generation.
It just doesn't make sense. Like her, I feel like her for who she is, her theme song.
And why does she walk
the
like
theme
that?
song alone ruins the character for me. I just don't think it works.
Why does she walk like that?
There was a show that was out for a year. It was called Freaks and Geeks, and that was the theme song of it. And because of the time frame of it, I think that she was probably a fan of it. That's probably why she picked
I'm over it.
That's the only thing. That's the only reason I can pick it. Really, that's the only reason why I pick it. That was the song of the show.
Well, next match we got is Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. The match that should be probably headlining night number 2, but Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. This one has been building up since SummerSlam. Rob, what are your thoughts on Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair?
Look, man, since SummerSlam that night, Korrey, I think all you guys can agree with me. I was pissed. Pissed. I mean,
I'm still mad about it. Mad about it.
You ruined a great moment. They ruined such a great moment. And that tells me, like I said, that they believe in Becky Lynch, but I don't think that they think that she's the main event player that they originally thought she was, because if you think about it, again, they would have put her against Ronda Rousey. But they knew how much of a disaster that was going to be. Did you guys see the match with Becky Lynch and Doudrop? Did you see the match? Did you see that? Did you see that? Doudrop actually out-wrestled Becky Lynch. And then when they went to Saudi Arabia, when you had Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch won again. Becky Lynch is not a tough customer. Bianca Belair is a tough customer. She cut her hair. She has that mode. Bianca Belair can go. I will say this. Drew's been talking about AEW all night. Let me say this. If Becky Lynch wins this match, and let's say they put Bianca Belair in obscurity, I would not be shocked if she goes to AEW one day. Because I'm going to tell you what, what's her name? Jade Cargill?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That match, I'm not going to put up there with Hogan and Flair, but that is the match that will break records. If they better, WWE better do right by Bianca Belair, because she'll go to AEW or Jade will come over to WWE. But I don't think she's coming to WWE. So if they don't treat Bianca right, we could get the match we want, and then I'll watch AEW.
Korrey, what are your thoughts on Becky and Bianca?
This whole thing has been pretty stale with Becky. Tired of the whole I'm the man and big time.
You're
Becky.
A woman.
And that terrible what is it, CGI of her when she comes out, it is horrific. I mean, you want to talk about a Halloween mask? That thing is terrible. But nevertheless, as Rob already said, though, they need to do right by Bianca. How they ended her title reign was horrendous. It could have been done in a different light. Could have been done in a different way. I mean, a straight clean pin. Nah, if you wanted to get real heat on Becky at that point, have her do something a cheating tactic to beat Bianca for the title.
Right.
Cool. Build the story off of that, But with the way things have been going the last few weeks, this next level of aggression from Bianca that I love to see, which also the Street Profits have as well, which we'll talk about in a minute, I guess. I'm loving it, and she needs to beat the living crap out of Becky and take that title.
Drew, what do we got?
I got Bianca getting this too, because if you look back on how, on how the title was won when Becky won it back, for SummerSlam, it's just so cheap, and we're not going to see that again for WrestleMania. It's going to be a bit too far-fetched to see that again. I want to see how Bianca won the title the first time when she came through and whipped, through and then grabbed that, and that welt that was left on it. Yeah. I want to see that again because she still has it. It's even a little longer now. It probably even hurts even more. So she comes through, wham, picks her up, does it, and then 1, 2, 3. Yeah, she's going to get that championship. It's going to be okay. Becky Lynch is going to go on a little bit of sabbatical probably until about SummerSlam-esque again. Enjoy being a mom while Rhonda picks up the title and goes with her mom title reign. Now we're going to see Becky Lynch kind of take a step back, and probably she's been going pretty fast, I think, for the past 6 to 8 months. So it's going to be her time to get a break, and then we'll see her grow her hair back out and come on back onto the show.
I mean, let's keep it real, guys. Let's just keep it honest, right? You guys don't want to admit it. You just don't want to admit it, but you know what's happening. You know what's coming.
Don't say it.
You know we're gonna get Becky Lynch against Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series.
All right, that's it.
You know what's gonna happen.
You're cussing now.
You're cussing now. Korrey doesn't want it, but we're talking about Vince McMahon here. You know, eventually it's gonna happen, right? You know, eventually Bianca's gonna probably get screwed out titling it, right? You know it, right? She wins, she's gonna get screwed at SummerSlam, right? You know.
I'm gonna try my best not to think about that. That's night one. Night two. Let's head to night two. All right. First, we're gonna go through. I call them the non-important matches, but we're gonna go through some of these.
Look at Korrey.
All right. So, Drew, first, Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. Who wins? Korrey.
It better be Sami Zayn.
It better be Sami Zayn.
Yeah,
Why you said it like you about to fight somebody? Korrey, Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn.
Knowing WWE, it's gonna be Knoxville. I'm done.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Robb, what do you got in this one?
Wanda, instead of this match, Wanda, go ahead and just flash one of those 2000s MTV spring break things. Spring break!
I'm done. All right, so I think Knoxville's going to win that too, and it's ridiculous. The disrespect of how good Sami Zayn is as a wrestler, I feel like he really gets overlooked. He's great on the mic. He's probably one of the most underrated wrestlers in WWE. He's really good on the mic, and he's a great wrestler. And somehow they keep using him as like just a punch. I hate it. I
want to see El Generico, man. I want to see what he did on the Indies. I want to see that brought back. I hope he kind of goes to AEW at some point so we can see that.
Oh God!
Because there's some good video clips of when he was that character.
Next matchup.
Hey man, sorry, dude. Sorry.
Next matchup: Pat McAfee and Austin Theory. Robb, who do you got in the Pat McAfee Austin Theory match?
Sure. Vince McMahon's backstage boy toy.
All right, backstage boy toy. Korrey, who you got in this one?
I was gonna say Vince's pet, but I think
ATL.
backstage boy toy works. Oh, A-Town Down, that trash theme song too.
A-Town Down.
God.
Hot ass garbage, man.
Trash, man.
A-Town Down, dude.
I'm gonna go get Jim Johnston real quick. This is ridiculous, man.
Korrey, who did you pick? I didn't hear
it.
Theory.
All right, Theory. Who do you got, Drew?
It's going to be time for the hammer done. It's going to be Pat McAfee is going to get this one. It's going to have for the PMS. Hashtag PMS. He's going to do a backflip, and they're all going to come out. Everybody from the show is going to come out and be ringside. It's going to turn into a lumberjack match because everybody from the hashtag Pat McAfee show is going to be out there. Lumberjack match. That way Austin Theory can't run. That's what's going to happen in WrestleMania.
Hey, Drew, you bring up a good point. What if he brings out his old Colts teammates, right? And then
I'm done.
Look, he brings out his old Colts teammates, right? And you know what they do? You know how the best way to taunt Austin Theory? Put up 28-3. He is from A-Town.
Oh, don't do Korrey like that. Close your ears, Korrey. Close your ears. Hey, don't y'all do Korrey like that.
A-Town down.
I got be in that one. Next one, the triple threat tag team match. You got RK Bro, Street Profits, and then you got Alpha Academy. This match might actually be this might be a really good match.
Be a classic. This match
I think it'll be a really good match. This could be one of the ones that steal the night on night two. Drew, who do you got in this one?
I got RK Bro. Because, Robb brought up a great point earlier. Matt Riddle is, like, in the real life, a badass. And you got Randy Orton, who's, easily in the top 5 from what we were talking about earlier from some of our top 5s. Yeah. So I feel like they should win it. But at the same time, my heart says the Street Profits are going to win this one. I feel like at the end, we're going to have Bianca Belair and them, the three of them out there with their championships together in a better way than other storylines have been in the past.
All right, Korrey, who do you got in this one?
Street Profits officially walk the heel line and do whatever it takes to get the job done.
I like that. Robb, what do you got?
I want to go Street Profits, guys, because I love this tag team. But if you've been watching closely, I know you guys do because you guys, like me, love the business. Something's going on. And I think that this whole Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch thing is gonna turn his face. And Darrell, I don't know if me and you've had this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I want a Seth Rollins and Montez Ford rivalry. I think that shit would be awesome. Now, this is how it happens. I think that if Street Profits lose this match, what you end up doing is you have Ford turn on the next Marty Jannetty, D'Angelo Dawkins. Let's just be honest. Montez Ford runs this team. Like, send D'Angelo Dawkins down to NXT, because that's really where he belongs. Montez Ford runs this team. If it wasn't, I mean, think about it, guys. Think about the high jumps he does. Think about it. Montez Ford is this team. I mean,
there's a high frog splash.
Hell, Marty Jannetty looks like a world champion compared to D'Angelo Dawkins. I mean, what does he do? He runs and does that little 360 spin that the fat boys do. So look, I just think that if the Street Profits.
Do I get to that again?
So if the Street Profits lose this match, right? They should go ahead and let Ford turn on D'Angelo Dawkins and send him down to NXT where he belongs.
Now, I like all of this turn talk, but I still think that the turn talk that you should be talking is Randy Orton and Riddle. Because
it's not doing that, Darrell.
It's going to happen at some point.
History does show that.
The reason why it needs to happen at some point is because you got to push Riddle to the next level. You got to push Riddle to the next level. His popularity is up there. He's probably top 5 on Raw, easily top 3, like most likable wrestlers on the Raw brand. Darrell, it's going to happen at some point. It's coming. This is perfect for it to happen, but I don't want it to happen. I think it happened.
I get you, but when did Triple H turn on Randy Orton? When he had what?
Title.
When he had the title.
Right.
Somebody's gonna have to get the title. Riddle is gonna have to get the title. I don't know if it's from Money in the Bank. I don't know what. Riddle's gonna have the title first, or either Orton's gonna have the title. But I think Riddle having the title will set Randy off into a motion. And guys, you're talking about matches for 3 or 4 months that are just gonna be awesome.
Drew?
What if we see, like, kind of like how Otis had the Money in the Bank before? What if we see a better transition of, like, maybe they fight over the briefcase? Like, maybe Riddle wins the Money in the Bank, but then they kind of go back and forth over the briefcase for the championship. So I think that maybe we could see a bit, because that whole storyline with Otis losing it to The Miz, I didn't like that. So maybe they can do something different with, because I like the idea. It was trash, but maybe that's something they can fight over. I kind of like that idea.
All right. So next matchup. Let's go with Queen Zelina and Carmella, Sasha Banks and Naomi, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, and Natalya and Shayna Baszler. This low key could be a really good match. Rob, who do you have winning this match?
Oh, Naomi and Sasha Banks. But I will say yes, it's gonna be one heck of a match. I think that all these women can go, except for Carmella. I really wish Queen Zelina would get another partner. And I'm not casting any bad energy on Carmella. I just think that what they're doing, like, you have this whole thing going with Corey Graves where they're doing this new show and all that. I think she's gonna start to transition out the ring, as she should, because she's horrible. She's not that good. So yeah, I think that Sasha and Naomi getting the titles is a big deal. Naomi moving to that second phase of her career, I think it'll be big for them, especially going to the summer. So, and who knows, we could get a Sasha and Naomi feud in the future. Who knows? And maybe we can get some decent women's wrestling, because it's been very average. So hopefully this will up the titles.
What about you, Korrey? Who you got in this one?
Naomi and Sasha, they're the only team with chemistry in this match. So what I'm hoping from this, though, is eventually WWE thinks about doing a mid-card title for the women. They need it. Somebody like Queen Zelina, for instance. I think Queen Zelina needs to be separated and on her own, because Carmella is bringing her down. He's bringing her down, and her queen win just doesn't seem relevant. But I think if they had another title for women to chase, because they got enough women on the roster, and honestly, the tag team scene for the women is kind of trash. So I
said from the start.
Yeah, they didn't do it right.
No, they didn't do it right.
Keep it real, Darrell. Did I say it was gonna be trash?
Yep.
But they didn't do it right. They didn't keep nobody together at all.
Right.
Iconics. I mean, I could go on and on. But
man, nobody want to see a damn Iconics.
But look, I see what Korrey's saying, because I see what Korrey's saying, because if you look at it, the tag teams they just put people together. There's no real, and they've been doing that for years. I mean, even with Arcade Bro, let's be honest with you, they just do 2 guys together. Let's see if your chemistry works. Let's go from there. And that's been the WWE philosophy for almost 20 years. You don't see the old school Legion of Doom. You don't see those type of like tag teams build up. And then when you do have those tag teams, they don't treat them right. Even with the Viking, the War Raiders, because that's who they, if you want to go further back. But teams like that, they don't give them what they really truly deserve. So
who has never won the women's championships before?
That's wrestling now.
And who does Vince think is money still, even though we know they're not? They're not in the current roster. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, the Bella Twins. That's all.
Yeah.
Drew, your turn, brother. Drew, your turn. Who you got?
And they're gonna piss it all, and they're gonna screw it all up.
I like both of your takes, and I do agree with Naomi and Sasha Banks as far as the chemistry part with what Korrey was saying. Mm-hmm. I feel like they would be the better choice, but the choice that we're gonna get. Well, not really choice because that's already predicted. But what's going to happen is it's going to be Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley is going to win.
Oh God,
that's exactly what's going to happen in this match. The women's wrestling tag team championship match. They've been building and building and building Liv Morgan up for quite some time and knocking her down each time with the women's championship. Unless we get some type of mid-card title like Korrey was talking about, like the TBS. Sorry, with going back to AEW, but the TBS championship is their mid-card title for the women. They need to have something like that with this in order to kind of separate it because Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley both need some type of title run. Not really Rhea Ripley because she kind of had one recently with Nikki ASH. But I feel like for everything else I just said, as far as Liv Morgan getting knocked down a few pegs over the past year or so, it's her turn, and she's due a WrestleMania moment anyway.
I'm sick of her crying, and I'm sick of her screaming like a child.
I'm going to agree with you
annoying
because I think that they want to push Liv to an extent, and she's the only one in this match that hasn't held a title, if I'm not mistaken.
Good.
Only one that hasn't held a title.
Good.
I'm going Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. All right, y'all. So we got about like 9 minutes. So let's try to kind of get through these bad boys here. We got next one. Now we got 3 matches left to talk about. First, let's go Bobby Lashley and Omos. Rob, I know you're very passionate about this one.
Bobby Lashley, I'm done.
All right. And Korrey, who do you got in this match?
Trash.
All right.
Trash.
Omos is trash.
You got the
complete trash
against the Almighty. Are you kidding me?
Sir. So what I'm gonna do for you is funny. Excuse me for a second, Darrell. Just a couple seconds.
Continue.
My boy Wally has something on that for Omos. I'm gonna make sure I tag you in it when I post it tomorrow morning. Make sure I tag you in it so you can see what he said. But Omos is just terrible. Mike, terrible. He's not intimidating at all. And don't get me started on his terrible theme music. Dun, dun, dun.
He likes all Apollo Crews.
No.
He likes all Apollo Crews.
That is stupid.
He's all Apollo Crews. I'll be like,
Korrey, I'll give you that. That is kind of stupid.
Lashley, I think Omos will get the win, though. I think Omos get the win, though.
Omos get the win. Drew, who do you got?
Unless they want to keep this undefeated streak going with Omos, I really feel like Bobby Lashley should not lose to Omos at WrestleMania. They're going to completely kill his title run if he loses to Omos. Unless they're really planning on sending him to the moon a lot better than they sent Braun Strowman and having that epic fail a couple of years ago, which I got to give it up. Braun Strowman's a lot better than Omos on the mic and everything. Like, we gotta give that. He does not deserve to be undefeated right now. So if the Fiend was going to lose and not be undefeated, how are they going to put so much energy into Omos but then kill the Fiend? Because I just can't stand that he is not there. He better be the secret person that's coming out. It better not be Cody Rhodes.
Hey, I'm Braun Strowman. I'm coming to take your title. I'm going to wrestle with a little kid at WrestleMania.
Is that your Braun Strowman voice? All I know is, Omos supposed to be defeated with who the people he's been facing because he hasn't faced anybody. I mean, I think he faced AJ Styles, but I didn't pay attention to it. I got Omos in this only because I think they're gonna find they want to keep pushing him. I want Bobby to win this match. Personally, want Bobby to win this match because Omos is there, but AJ Styles was the only thing that made him relevant a couple months ago. So, but that's okay too. Next, all right, last two matches, and then we'll go to put out the fire here. AJ Styles and Edge. And I'm going to go first on this one because I'm excited. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm going to tell y'all right now, for me, I think I want to give it to Edge so bad. But I let's be honest. I don't know if AJ Styles has ever really had his WrestleMania moment, and I could be wrong on that, y'all. I might not be thinking clearly right now. So, and I could be missing a moment, and it just, because a lot be going on in the huge head here. But I think that this goes to AJ. I think AJ needs that WrestleMania moment, and he's going to probably steal the show here with Edge. So I got AJ Styles. Korrey, who do you have in this match?
If you believe yours is the only way, then you're the fool who lives to die. Edge is gonna take the dub on this. That is lyrics to his new theme song. So he will take the dub in this match. Unfortunately, I think to solidify his heel turn. Awesome.
Drew, who do you got?
I like what Korrey just said about solidifying his heel turn because he really does need something to solidify this most recent heel turn. But at the same time, I kind of feel like I want to go with what Darrell was saying. At the same time, I'm kind of conflicted because, Undertaker's going into the Hall of Fame this year. In his last match, AJ Styles put a lot into that match and helped Undertaker get over on his last match, in that cinematic match. Maybe this is his reward to go up with Edge and get that win because everybody's been wanting this match for quite some time because AJ is on the Indies doing stuff with, Ring of Honor and Impact and all that stuff. We didn't really see him during the time with Edge being a full-time competitor. So I want to say that Edge is going to win, but my heart says that AJ is going to win.
I'm going to see with that. Robb, who do you got in this match? I know who Robb got because Robb said he's the GOAT. Come on, Robb. He took his hair out. I don't know why he took his hair out. We're waiting for it. There you go. I think that answers the question.
The phenomenal from Marietta, Georgia. The phenomenal AJ Styles.
All right, so there it is. We got 3 pay. All right, so last match, fellas, and then we're gonna put out the fire here. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, the both titles on the line. Winner takes all. We're finally gonna get a one title. Boy, Drew, I'm gonna let you go first, man. Like, who's winning this match, brother? Who's winning it?
Who was one of the first undisputed champions back in the day?
Brock Lesnar.
In this match, Brock Lesnar. You know why he's going to win this match? Because Roman Reigns has been handed down so much stuff in his lifetime. Silver spoon fed. He does not deserve this one, but partially he does because his character has been great over the past couple of years. I got to give my hat off to him. My hat's been off this entire show. Roman Reigns is going to win this match.
Robb, who do you got in this one?
How dare you? Like, how the hell dare you diss Roman Reigns when he's done so much with this company over the last few years? He went from getting booed to being the man, to being the myth and the legend. Roman Reigns beats Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman.
Oh, well, hang on, time out. I got to intercept. Roman Reigns didn't leave and go win and whip ass in MMA like Brock Lesnar did and solidified that not everybody who is in WWE is soft, Rob. Okay? So Brock Lesnar is not some just baby back bitch wrestling in this match, all right? My bad. I'm going to step back. Roman Reigns is going to win this match.
Who do you got?
And Roman Reigns has his name all over.
Hey.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're going to make it nice, short, and sweet. The tribal chief, the head of the table. The head of the freaking table. And the thing about Roman, though.
He's taking his shirt off. What do you have underneath this shirt? What do you got under there?
The thing about
this is what I want to see this at WrestleMania. I want to see the Rock and Sock connection come back at WrestleMania. Better than Roman Reigns. I want to see that Samoan come back and wrestle.
Real quick.
Wait, hold on, y'all. Let Korrey go.
Sorry.
The thing about it though is Roman. If you watch the Evil docuseries, I just watched it the other day. Mm-hmm. This is all him. This is not WWE creative. This is him and Paul Heyman. So this is why I think people are so acceptive of it now, because of the fact that this is him. Not none of that crap they were trying to shove to us. He's being himself, and I love it.
It's been beautiful. It's been.
I'm gonna finish at this. Hey, Drew, acknowledge me.
Acknowledge
All right,
this.
now, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? Oh, and I'm going with the tribal treat. Let's go to
Fire, 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 burn on. Fire, 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 burn on. Fire, 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 legacy on fire.
All right, let's finish this bad boy up. It's been a great hour and a half here. We're gonna finish it up. We'll put out the fire. Now, Rob, I'm gonna let you go first, brother. This is your chance to put out the fire. Topic of your own. What do you got, brother?
Hey, WWE, how you doing? How you feeling? WrestleMania, right? In 2016, a certain title that I love died because a man named Zack Ryder won the belt, and he had no business winning the belt. I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, and let me say this as well, folks. And I hope you all on this panel and everybody out there in America agrees with me. The new design of the title is horrible. You got a champion currently who's a high flyer, who you should be having in a really good match at Mania. But no, you put him in a match on SmackDown. I'm talking about the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. The first time we saw this belt was September 1st, 1979, Pat Patterson. You're talking about Savage and Steamboat. You're talking about Hart versus Perfect. You're talking about Triple H versus The Rock at SummerSlam. You're talking about Ramon against Shawn Michaels back in the day. For this title to be relegated to SmackDown and not on the main show is a crime. They should put this belt on The Miz. The Miz should, when The Miz was running with this title, it was relevant again. So put it back on The Miz some way, somehow. The Intercontinental Heavyweight title should be at WrestleMania. Bottom line, I'm disgusted. I'm sick. And just fix it.
All right.
Do it now.
Do it now. Drew, it's your chance to put out the fire, sir.
Kind of like where Rob was going with this bringing the title back thing. I like where he was going with that, but you hit the wrong title. He hit the wrong title. Sorry, Rob. You're talking about the rivalry. You're talking about going toe to toe with another company. Why don't you bring back some history? Yeah, I took it down while you were talking, Rob. I brought this title down. I brought the WCW Championship back, the World Heavyweight Championship. You want to stick it to the competitor? Use the old competitor's championship as your main heavyweight championship, the one that has a lot of history with the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, and all of those War Games matches in WCW back in the day. You want to talk about something that's legit. You want to talk about something that has more history and has been on TV in more episodes of professional wrestling than any other show before. You go with this championship right here. Woo! Ric Flair and the guy on my shirt right here, The Rock, held this championship. That is my fire right there. Bring this championship back right here.
All right. Korrey, your chance, brother. Put out the fire, bro.
My fire is the fire that I want to put out is stop with the BS storylines. Can we please get back to what made wrestling great? Not just what happened in the ring. It was the great storylines, the compelling storylines, the storylines that spanned over months that made sense. Not things that got put together. Not things because you were bored. Not things because Vince McMahon wants to see big, tall guys that 7 foot tall slap meat together. They don't care about none of that. What I care about is how you captivate me. Get back to those days where we used to all just sit around and be captivated by Monday Night Raw for the whole 3 hours from the time it started to the time it ended. Not now where I can barely watch 5 minutes of it. SmackDown, thank God Roman on it, because other than that, I wouldn't watch it neither. NXT, why am I even saying NXT? That shouldn't even be in my vocabulary right now. It's so horrible. WWE needs to go through a revamp. We need to get somebody else at the helm that can run the day-to-day operations and make sure that those like us in this panel right here, who has been watching wrestling for years, for decades, that were captivated by storylines, bring that back so we can get more actual wrestling fans.
I love it. Korrey, I couldn't have said it better myself. All right, so putting out the fire. Everybody's been tossing the belt up. Let me go ahead and bring my baby out. That was my Christmas present right here. But my put out the fire isn't really like a put out the fire to an extent. It's more of a shout out. My top 5 wrestlers are as follows. You know, you got The Rock 1, Shawn Michaels 2. I got $1 Million Man in the mix. I got Macho Man. But another guy that's in that top 5 is no longer with us, and he deserved the run of this title, was Scott Hall, a.k.a. Razor Ramon. Scott Hall, to me, if you watch, and I watched this match yesterday. Scott Hall, it was Scott Hall and Ric Flair versus Mr. Perfect and Macho Man. And I sat here, and Bobby Brain Heenan is on the commentary. And you know what made me sad, y'all? The fact that half of that group no longer here. Only person in the ring that was still here is Flair. Everybody's gone. And the greatness of Mr. Perfect, who's also in my top 10. He held that IC championship. You know, he held it with pride. But for me, it's like Scott Hall was such a Razor, because he's Razor to me. I mean, I know he's Scott Hall, obviously, but Razor Ramon was the perfect wrestler. Like, he had the tall build. He had the total package, no pun intended. He had the total package. And the only thing that eluded him in his run, and I know he really probably didn't care about it because he was about making that money, was a WWE or a world championship run. He's one guy along with Mr. Perfect, and I could go $1 Million Man, guys who I felt like deserve world championship runs. So I hate to see all these guys nowadays that get all these championship runs like this dude boots. So that's my shout out. Scott Hall, love you. Razor Ramon, rest easy, brother. Thank you for all the great memories. And that's what I got on that one. That's my fire, and that's what I'm putting out. Hey. All right, everybody. Look, that is it here. Legacy on fire once again, everybody. Before we got here, I want to thank my panel, Mr. Robb Johnson, Mr. Drew Willingham, and of course, my man, Korrey Mann from the Undisputed Champions podcast. Now, before we get off of here, I like to give everybody a chance to say something before we go. Drew, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
One thing I did want to say is he deserved to run it. Both of yours and the title that we both have.
Yeah.
He did a great job with the one that Robb's got on his shoulder, holding that up to the utmost. But have to give a shout out because I was wondering when we were going to get to this point, this whole, because it's just recently happened with Scott Hall.
Right.
Definitely have to give him a shout out because with the championship I got, with the one you got, he definitely deserved to run it both of them.
All right, Robb. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Hope everybody enjoys WrestleMania. I hope WrestleMania exceeds our expectations. For the younger generation, don't take this for granted. For those who remember the old school wrestling, just try to embrace the new school because, like I said, we were very, very blessed in the 90s. And a guy like Scott Hall, the things that what Scott Hall and Kevin Nash did, if they had not did what they did and hadn't laid that platform, wrestling wouldn't be where it is today. And Scott Hall from Kevin Nash, I think Kevin Nash was doing an interview on. He basically said that Scott Hall just wanted to put other guys over. He wasn't worried about the world title.
Right.
Scott Hall was about the business. You know what I'm saying? So if they had, and just imagine, guys, if Scott Hall had got really big in WWE, who knows if we ever get the NWO? So sometimes in life, things happen for a reason. They say the man upstairs don't make mistakes for a reason. So maybe we got what we got for a reason, guys. Don't question history. Just roll with it. All
right. I like it. Now, before Korrey, I want you to let everybody know where they can find you, where they can find the podcast. Tell them go listen to this greatness. Can you give us some indication of where we can find the Undisputed Champion show, brother?
Yeah, man. So it's almost been a year. April 11th will be a year since we've been doing the Undisputed Champion. So thanks to everybody for the support. Darrell, Drew, Robb, thank y'all for having me on. I really do appreciate it. This has been great talk. I've had a great time. You can find us on YouTube at The Undisputed Champion Show. You can find us on YouTube, at Facebook on the same thing at The Undisputed Champion Show. It has all of our links on there. I'm not going to go through all of them because they're a little different because of people and what they do. So, you can go in there and find all our links on there. We had a show that dropped today at 4:00. We have another one that's dropping tomorrow at 4:00. I will be dropping teaser trailers for early tomorrow morning. So we've been working hard and, fellas like you guys keep us going, so we appreciate everything that you guys have been doing. We've been watching from afar. Trust me. So,
now, Korrey, with your permission, sir, I would love to put the new episodes on the website.
Hey, absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
All right. It will be done. It will be done. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Legacy on Fire, the WrestleMania edition. You got Drew, you got Robb, you got Korrey. I'm your man, Darrell Lawrence. Now, we're going to take a break for a while. We'll be back in a month with Legacy on Fire. We got the draft special coming up here in the next couple of weeks, so be on the lookout for that. We got other things going on. Keep checking in to the Legacy Maker Sports Network, where there's no longer a dream. What is it, Rob?
It's the reality.
I'm the Until next time.